So Eryk, obviously running it back after that last one was it important for you to do this one again, or did it really matter to you?
One didn't really matter to me. This is the name they called me with, and it wouldn't matter if it was somebody else or Darren. So it just so happened to be Darren. So here we are.
Nice. The knee obviously is the big story, right? The illegal knee. I was trying to judge by your reaction, like after everything happened. Like, when did you realize, this was illegal, and it could potentially end the fight?
It was as soon as Herb said stop, and then before he even said anything to Darren, he turned to me and was like, he was down, you need him in the head, and I was like, ooh, all right. And then so you just got to kind of let everything play out the way it did. So.
What's your take as you're watching everything kind of like be evaluated and that sort of thing? I mean, are you thinking like, gosh, I hope we'll carry on, or I can tell this is over?
Yeah, no, of course I wanted to continue, but they have these protocols in place for a reason. I just think that if I do that in the first minute of the fight, Darren takes his time and the fight goes on, but how's he supposed to pass any kind of concussion protocol or whatever they do when the previous 4 minutes? I was getting at him pretty good, so of course he's not going to be coherent enough to answer any questions and stuff. So kind of kicking myself in the butt about it because I kind of gave him a way out, so to speak.
What is going through your mind? Because obviously we've seen a couple of illegal blows lately, right? And so I was just curious what the mindset, like when you're throwing that knee, are you thinking about positioning, or I mean, I know you're not trying to do something illegal, right? So what's the thought process like in that moment?
Man, there is no thought process. It's just kind of kill mode, for lack of a better term. You hear the referees telling the fighter to defend himself, so the fight's almost over. He was kind of up, down, up, down, up, down. I thought he was on the way up, and from the way I was standing on top of him, I couldn't really tell. So it's 100% on me.
Yeah. What'd you think of Peter Yan kind of coming at you on social media? I laughed. I'll be honest.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I don't think that he meant anything by it, but it's fun to go back and forth like that with other fighters and stuff.
So the rematch is done. You said it. You were kind of putting it on him. So in terms of preparation, I mean, do you change anything? Did you learn anything in there that like, hey, we got to tweak, or you just say, go do that again?
Yeah, if it goes like that again, then I'm cool. I just got to finish it the right way.
Nice. Last thing for me, I mean, what type of fight? I mean, do you think we see the same fight, or is it, because it's so interesting to see we're putting it right back together? Is it the same?
Man, I've pretty much went straight back into camp. I've been out in Arizona training with Eddie Chan, Santino DeFranco for this whole year except for a month, so for about 5 months. So I've done nothing but continue to grow and develop my skill set and stuff. I'm not sure what his training has been like or anything like that. So yeah, I think I'll be an even better fighter this time around than I was last time. And we're fighting up a weight class, so I tend to hit harder at 205. So yeah, it's good for me.
Eryk, right. Was it difficult at all to mentally just reset, knowing, like you said, you were putting it on him, and now you have to face the same guy again, like outside of the physical preparation, but was it difficult at all to mentally get back into this fight?
Not really. I have like a 24-hour rule, win, lose, or draw, and or no contest in this case. After 24 hours, whether I'm happy, sad, or whatever, then I'm over it, and we're on to the next.
And then you said you were training in Arizona just 2021, is what you were saying? Like from the beginning of this year?
Yeah. I went out there in January to get ready for the fight in March, and then pretty much had the half of March and a little bit of April off, and then was back out there in Arizona training again.
And we've heard so much about Eddie Cha's skill set as a striking coach. The fighters seem to just flock to him from all over the country. What specifically about him drew you to come out here to Arizona?
Man, he's really the guy that like emphasizes the distance. If you watch my fights before, man, it's kind of a brawl. Toe to toe, and I hit you, you hit me, and we'll see who's left at the end. And that's not very conducive to a long career. So. I wanted to be able to use my athleticism a little bit more. So now I think Darren only landed one punch in that first one, and just being further away and being able to close distance and gauge distance I think for me is going to be the difference in my performance.
Who are some of the other bigger guys he's been training right now? Because we see him a lot with the smaller fighters, but we don't see a lot of bigger guys like you with him.
Well, they this camp and last camp they brought guys out for me to train with. There's not a whole lot of big guys that train there on the day-to-day, but like Ryder Newman came out there last time, Curtis Millander, Jared Rebel came out there this time, and man, there's a guy out there, a welterweight, Ray Waters. Y'all probably don't know about him yet, but I assure you will here in the near future.
Eryk over here. Is this 4-way to 205, is that going to be a permanent thing, or you just testing the waters?
Nah, Darren wanted to fight at 205, so it's, no skin off my back, so it's whatever.
So would you would make that a permanent home? Because you got a big frame for middleweight.
Man, I like middleweight. I like the preparation for middleweight. I have to be more disciplined, especially with my diet and stuff, and I think it just makes me that much more dialed in on fight night.
How much pressure do you have being kind of, you're home away from home to put a show on? I'm pretty sure you're going to have a lot of friends and family that are going to be here in Phoenix to see you do your thing.
Oh, man, I do that anyways, I think all my fights are pretty fun and entertaining to watch, and I think it'll be even more so now that there's fans and you can feel the energy of the crowd and whatnot.
I can tell you're a big mental guy, which you already locked up with him. He felt your power, you felt his. When you see him, when you have y'all stare downs and stuff like that, what do you think is going to be going through your head knowing that you basically took this man's will and let him off the hook, and you're going to have to do it again?
I just try to like gauge people's energy at the stare down. You can kind of, see them breathing a little harder. They look away sometimes, So I don't know. I really just go off of him. It's like, oh, okay, maybe he's a little timid, or, I can see the nervousness, or, whatever. I'm not sure what his energy will be like when we look each other in the eyes.
Do you have to get a finish, or it's just all about just getting your hand raised, regardless of by decision or whatever? As long as you get your hand raised at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Or you been, I got to finish this fight and send a statement?
Man, every time I fight, I'm fighting for one of those performance bonuses. Man, there's nothing like an extra 50 or hopefully in this case 75K in your pocket at the end of a fight. So. Yeah, I'd like to get a finish, but, he's a tough, durable dude, and I'm sure he'll be even more durable fighting up a weight class, because he doesn't have to put his body and stress his body as much. So, yeah, of course I'm looking for a finish and a good performance, but at the end of the day, it's all about wins. So if I get my hand raised, then I'll be pleased with it.
And final question for me, with the COVID, you got the loss in 2020, and then the crazy no contest earlier. Does that kind of like bother you? Like, man, I haven't got to win in the actual calendar year. Does that feel in your psyche anywhere, or just like a different fight, different place, different time?
Man, I've been my career's been all over the place. Yeah, it's been a year since the win, but I've also lost 3 straight, and then came back and won a performance bonus. So, I've faced a little adversity before, and this is nothing new.
Eryk, right here. Hey, man. Uncle Eryk in town, right in Phoenix. You got your brother here. You have family here. So even though you're not in Birmingham anymore, you kind of have that feel. What's that like for you to have family here and to be able to train here and just kind of, because the routine and that normalcy is everything, right?
Yeah, yeah, I got my brother lives here, niece and nephew, and during when I'm getting ready for a fight, I really like to isolate. So I've been here for about 8-9 weeks, and I've probably only seen them twice. And one of them was their birthday, so, Uncle Eryk had to make an appearance. So, yeah, I really didn't see them too much. I just kind of like to be isolated and be by myself as I'm getting ready for a fight.
First time I met you, you were in the crowd at an event we did here, and I think you were fighting for LFA at the time. Can you just talk about your journey, being a national champion and then coming through and, ending up where you are now, but the path along the way, the bumps and bruises, the ups and downs?
Yeah, man, it's been a crazy journey, and but I appreciate it that much more. Nothing was ever given to me. No one ever really did me any favors. I fought my way into the position I'm in now. I've had some wins, had some losses, had some performances, bonuses, and it's just it's been an awesome ride.
And how about training here in the dry heat as opposed to that humidity in Birmingham, the adjustments that you've made there?
I train inside, so it's not like I I ever have to see that sun or anything like that. And, you know, I pick the times when I run in the morning or late at night. So, man, I prefer the humidity because that sun out there is crazy intense, and I don't want no part of it. So I'm glad I do an indoor sport. They got some AC pumping in the building.
And last one for me, just the opportunity to be on a card like this, man. This is the biggest one we've ever had in Arizona, but to be there with Nate and to have 2 title fights at the top, huge opportunity with a lot more fans watching for you.
Yeah, you know, I fought at I think may have been I can't remember when Adesanya fought Kelvin Gastelum. You know, the energy that night was, you know, it was crazy. Kind of similar situation, and yeah, you know, it's fun. The crowd is everything for me. You know, it's cool. You know, I'm glad that we were able to fight through the pandemic and whatnot, but for me, it's more about the fans and the energy of the crowd, and you know, you hear all the oohs and ahs every time, you know, you land a good solid shot or whatever. So for me, that's the most exciting part about this.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
Hey, Eryk. Jose Romero from the Arizona Republic, man. Can you just go over, you were talking about your journey, and can you just kind of talk about the time when you transitioned from football into this sport and kind of what was the deciding factor for that, why you got into that?
Yeah, you know, a lot of people think that, you know, they'll ask me a question, is like, why did you quit football? Or they think that I just went from football straight to the UFC, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Football quit me, you know. Football didn't work out for me, so I was, you know, man, I did everything under the sun. You know, I was a janitor, I cleaned apartments, cleaned factories, worked for Coca-Cola, all in the same town that just a year before I had won a national championship. So, you know, I just was super frustrated and just found myself being angry all the time because this is not how I envisioned my life turning out, you know. Every football player knows you might not make it to the league, and if you do, you're probably not going to be there for long. So I was okay with not making it to the NFL, but, man, I just thought that I would have a little more help, you know, finding or getting having a career. Man, I didn't want to be on my hands and knees scrubbing toilets. And so, man, I just found myself like fighting all the time, getting in trouble. So, I really just walked into the gym to blow off some steam, and got beat up by Walt Harris the very first day I walked in. But, man, I fell in love with the sport immediately after that. You know, I just knew that I had to start from scratch, you know, develop a skill set. And, you know, I think the biggest apprehension that people have of getting into fighting is, you know, it's going to hurt when you get punched in the face. And, you know, it doesn't feel great, but it's not that bad, honestly. So I just knew that I could be successful. I just had to, you know, even after I started fighting, you know, I'd wake up at, you know, 4:30, 5 in the morning, go train, go to work, not even go home, go straight back to the gym, train again until 10, 11 at night, and go home and go to sleep. So yeah, it's been a crazy journey.
Eryk, back here. Speaking of your football career, you know, we're getting crowds back now, and you fought without crowds. Could you ever imagine playing a football game like the national championship without a crowd?
Nah, it'd be kind of weird, but you know, I think because you know they're in a stadium or whatever, they would probably like pump crowd noise in there, so it wouldn't just be silent like those like the fights have been. You know, you can hear the corner like clear as day, but and I think at one point you could even hear the commentary in the cage. I remember them saying something about that when they first started fighting. So, man, I hope that they never have to do that, and would at least like you know play the crowd noise over the loudspeakers in the stadium.
All right, good luck, Eryk.
Thank you.